Is this tongue for real? Is this one? Does this make this dog the ugliest dog in the world? Are wrinkles cute or ugly on a dog? Is a dog with a pushed-in face, hindquarter hideous or lovable? A dog with no hair and bad teeth unsightly or adorable? On this special edition of Dogs 101, we'll tackle an age-old issue. Are some dogs just plain ugly? And we'll find out which dog is the winner of the 21st Annual World's Ugliest Dog Contest. The canine world is filled with beauty. Who can resist the flowing grace of the Whippet? The dainty prance of the Shih Tzu? The noble air of the Weimaraner? Or the rugged good looks of the Saint Bernard?
There's many reasons to admire dogs as there are dog breeds.
But there's a flip side to these pedigreed pooches. A group of canines that are just as loved and pampered as their stylish cousins.
If a dog is so ugly, there's this unusual law of nature that they automatically become cute.
Some people might look at a Chinese crested with pimples on its back and say, oh my gosh, that's ugly. But to someone who has an energy connection with that animal is beautiful.
Once considered underdogs, they now hold their heads high.
Years ago, it used to be you wanted to have the perfect dog, but now ugly is in.
They are the dogs with those beautifully ugly, smushed-in faces, the so creepy it's cute, hairless skin, and the terrible gnashing teeth, and the slobbery tongues. Oh, the tongues. These are the ugly dogs. And today we're heading to the mecca of ugly dogdom, the Sonoma Marin Fair in Petaluma, California, where one ugly dog will be crowned the ugliest.
Let me tell you, you go to a shelter and you're going to see some ugly, ugly dogs that are some of the sweetest dogs you'll ever meet.
Everyone has a turn.
What makes certain dogs ugly? Masses of wrinkles, pushed-in faces, or their lack of hair?
Humans can become very attached to and fascinated by very ugly pets. This is part of humans' fascination with oddness and extremes.
It's almost like kind of, gawking, or just staring at them because they're sort of unusual. The same reason you might stop and look at a car crash.
Whatever it is, some dogs are just plain ugly, and we love them for it.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it's the extreme version of ugly that really drives people over the top crazy with cute overload.
Ugly dogs are cute no matter how you face it.
Dogs 101 combed the country to find the most endearing ugly dogs. Our search for these ugly mugs culminated at the Sonoma Marin Fair in Petaluma, California, where for decades ugly dogs have flocked to be judged on, well, their ugliness. At the world's ugliest dog contest.
Instead of a beauty pageant, it's an ugly dog pageant.
It's the Academy Awards, the Miss America pageant, the Super Bowl for ugly dogs.
Finally, there's a contest for the rest of the world of dogs.
On today's special edition of Dogs 101, we'll define what traits make a dog so ugly it's cute. And we'll start with some of this year's ugly dog contestants. Year after year, small hairless dogs with grizzled smiles dominate the competition. And every year, there are long-shot furry pooches trying to steal their crown. Pabst, the boxer mix, is one of those underdogs. After 4 years of hearing how beautifully ugly Pabst's Underbite is, his owner, Miles Egstad, has entered him in the world's ugliest dog competition.
I think what sets Pabst apart from the other dogs in the world's ugliest dog competition is he mostly resembles a normal dog except for his face. I absolutely love him.
At a local adoption event, Pabst stole Miles's heart.
I got him when he was around 6 months old. It was pretty much love at first sight.
Even Even though Pabst is in perfect health, with such a large underbite, Miles did have some concerns.
He seemed to have a difficult problem chewing his hard food, so I had started giving him just wet food. He's learned to use his underbite more as a scoop.
Once settled into his new home, it was time for Pabst to meet his family. At first glance, Pabst had a face even Miles's mother couldn't love.
My first reaction to Pabst was that he was quite scary.
The first time I ever met Pabst, I was really intimidated. He has this big underbite that's kind of scary looking, but he came right up to me. He just put his head under my hand.
After people get to know Pabst, they really love him. He's the best dog there is.
However, with a face like that, Pabst seems to draw attention wherever he goes.
What's wrong with that thing? The teeth that are sticking out are even yellow. It's right there.
After his World's Ugliest Dog competition, if he takes first place, I'll get him some veneers.
The reflection in the water. He just scared himself.
Definitely the ugliest dog I've seen.
Honestly, I don't think that he's ugly whatsoever.
With reactions like that, it's no surprise that Pabst, Miles, and Veronica are taking a road trip a couple of hours away to Petaluma.
I had to enter him in the World's Ugliest Dog competition because people tell me nonstop that he's the ugliest thing they've ever seen.
I think he has a great chance of winning.
All right, Pabst, I know you're ugly, but you give it your ugliest, okay, boy? Let's get out there and win this contest. Get on here.
All packed up, Pabst and company are off in search of a blue ribbon. Pabst is on his way to the ugly dog competition with high hopes. But what is the secret to his dapper bad looks? Sure, he has that mean-looking underbite, but can you guess what trait Pabst shares with pugs, Boston Terriers, and bulldogs?
Brachycephalic.
Brachycephalic? I wouldn't have the slightest idea what that would mean, but it sounds ugly in itself.
Brachycephalic dogs, you know, the dogs with the pushed-in faces.
That's right, they're brachycephalic. It basically means a pushed-in mug and a broad, short skull. It could also be the scientific term for ugly but lovable. From the boxer to the Pekingese to the Shih Tzu, something about that mug just makes us want to take brackies everywhere we go. France may be the land of love, but like many brackies, French bulldogs can only be bred by artificial insemination. Those lovable, smushy faces are so big, many brachycephalic dogs can only be born via cesarean section.
Birthing is, almost impossible, and without assistance can be fatal.
If you think that mug is so ugly it's cute, you're in good company. The oldest brachycephalic breed, the Pekingese, was a companion to Chinese emperors as far back as the 8th century. From Napoleon Bonaparte to Adam Sandler, brackies have been faithful companions throughout the ages.
They make us laugh, they give us a little chuckle, and they make us feel good.
In fact, that so ugly it's cute look may have been exactly what early breeders were going for with these dogs. That lovable pushed-in muzzle is the key brachycephalic trait. The breadth and length of the skull are almost equal. Compare that to the mug of a mesocephalic dog, like a lab. These dogs have average-sized muzzles. Dolichocephalic dogs like Great Danes have extremely long muzzles.
We've bred these shorter and shorter noses, and the brachycephalic is just the extreme example of that.
The pushed-in mug often results in very small nostrils, so these dogs tend to wheeze and snort.
They have trouble breathing because their nose is so short.
In some cases, brachycephalic dogs suffer from a debilitating condition caused by an elongated soft palate. The upper part of the soft palate can flap into the trachea. This can suffocate a dog if no action is taken.
That actually has to be corrected by surgery.
Small nostrils can also cause brackies to suck in a lot of air. This can lead to some rather impolite habits.
They just tend to have gas, you know? I mean, they like fart all the time.
Another consequence of a smushed-in face is prominent protruding eyeballs.
Its eyes can pop right out of its head because the socket is so shallow.
When I think of an ugly dog, I instantly think of a pug. I mean, you look at that face and it's like you have to ask yourself, is this thing even like from Earth?
One rapping duo might have something to say about that description of the pug.
I got no absence of malice, just a brachycephalic. I hold her up in my arms when we practice the talents, the freestyles. Y'all don't even want to match us, because we can go verse for verse or callus for callus.
Meet Dollar. He's the constant companion to the rapper Lyrical.
They just have that face that they're so ugly they're cute.
When these two aren't laying down rhymes, they can be found dropping knowledge in the classroom. Along with being one of Boston's hottest up-and-coming rappers, Lyrical is a college math professor, music instructor, and community speaker.
Bringing the pug to any event that I speak at is an icebreaker. If you have a pug with you and you show up at some place, anybody with a frown on is actually going to be smiling or laughing.
I tend to rock shows with my dog Dollar.
Dollar is more than just a sideshow for Lyrical. The pug's peculiar looks help to break down barriers whenever Lyrical speaks or performs.
If they think the pug's ugly, they're going to talk about that. If the pug is something that they think is a cute dog, they let their guard down, which is what all this is about.
Brachycephalic dogs are no beauties. They're also drooly, gassy, and all around rude. But they sure can charm a crowd. If you think one of these brachy breeds is for you, get ready for vet bills. Respiratory problems are the biggest concern, but dental problems and eye issues also abound. This all means that brackies require big-time care and maintenance. Because of airway issues, neck leashes are a no-no. A body harness should always be used to leash a brachycephalic dog.
These dogs should be kept cool, should be kept the right weight, should always have constant access to water.
If you were to pinpoint the key ugly factor, it would have to be those beautiful but freaky bulging eyes.
I've seen lots and lots of dogs with their eyes prop toast, which means the eyeball has actually popped out of the socket.
There is a wide variety of brachycephalic breeds, and each dog is an individual. But in general, their breathing should be monitored closely, and they have a host of other health issues. Don't let them get overweight. And the key ugly factor are eyes that literally pop out of the sockets. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and whether you think they're beauties or beasts, brackies make themselves the center of attention.
I think it's funny, though, if somebody does say ugly, because I usually look at that person and I'm like, don't make me say what you look like.
Coming up on Dogs 101's Ugly Dog Special, she may only weigh 10 pounds, but this little Chinese crested could be a heavyweight at this year's World's Ugliest Dog contest. But she has stiff competition from this barrel of wrinkles.